Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about SUI because we've seen SUI make yet another really fantastic move to the upside. And at this point, SUI to me is just looking almost unstoppable. So I want to talk a little bit about that, show you exactly what I'm seeing in the chart, and also show you that we've been talking about this for a while now. And so we're going to be going through a whole bunch of different things today. Also, we've seen records after records after records getting broken on SUI, which again, just crazy stuff happening. And so anyway, we're going to go talk about all this, but starting out, I did want to talk about crypto bubbles because what we can see a little bit of a pullback on the day here. Virtuals, another one that's actually been looking really strong lately. This one, if we look at the chart, it's kind of just been up only, very similar for kind of all of what we've seen in the recent chart. So looking really strong here. Obviously that's not what we're talking about today though, but that is one that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. But overall, we have seen a bit of a pullback on the day. Looking at the week, again, mixed, but we've seen some pretty deep pullbacks on a lot of alts here. Obviously, we do have a couple that are doing relatively quite well. Like I said, Virtual has been one that's been pretty consistent here. We've seen Hyperliquid do really quite well recently also, so a whole bunch of stuff. But what we can see though on the month, still everything super green. So I think this is going to be this way for at least a little while. We are starting to see some of these numbers drop at least a little bit because we are kind of getting over the hump of a lot of those like major gains that we have seen, and things are starting to flatten out a little bit as indicated by what we're seeing on the red week and daily. So not a huge problem from what I've seen, pulling back. Overall, the charts, I think, all look pretty good. A lot of this, in my opinion, is just a lot of chop. I think it's meant to liquidate people. I think it's meant to frustrate people. I think it's meant to essentially flush them out of the market because that's what these markets do, right? I mean, if everything was up only all the time, it'd be really easy to trade and really easy to make a lot of money, right? And obviously, the majority of people in the market don't. And that's why, is because there's a lot of this stuff going on. And so when we're trading, we need to be very careful to make sure that we're not getting washed out by taking, crazy trades or, going 500x long on SUI or, whatever, things like that. Not recommended, obviously not financial advice. You need to make your own decisions. But at least from my opinion, doing things like that are a really great way to get yourself washed out of the market, particularly if you are trying to play more of a longer term game. And so what we can see looking at the chart here, things looking pretty good. We've noticed the 1, 2, 3. We talked about this in the last SUI video that I did. It's been a pretty easy chart to follow as far as showing the uptrend, right? I mean, we saw a really strong move to the upside here, a little bit of a consolidation pullback, another strong move, a little bit of a consolidation pullback, another strong move, a little bit of a consolidation pullback, and now we're starting, at least what it seems, to maybe be seeing another strong move to the upside. And so again, third time in a row, it's getting pretty easy to predict at this point. What we can see, most importantly though, is we keep making new higher highs and we keep settling on new higher lows. And that's really kind of the crux of what we're seeing here. We are also seeing that we did kind of squeeze a little bit on the Bollinger Bands. And usually when that does happen, as I have mentioned before, it does mean volatility. Given how strong the SUI chart has been, almost always I would say that means it's probably we're going to see another move to the upside. But we don't know how long that's going to last, right? I mean, we have to keep in mind that even though it always does break to the upside recently, when we see these Bollinger Bands squeeze, it's not always a guarantee that we will see a move to the upside. But we can see this pretty consistently. We saw another squeeze here after before a strong move, Then we also saw another kind of squeeze-ish here before we also saw another strong move. Here we can see a bit of a squeeze where we saw a break to the downside. So here is an example of what can happen sometimes. Again, this was a much different market than what we're in right now, which is why we're seeing a lot of that difference. But one thing that I did want to show you is that we have actually been talking about this for a while. This was the last SUI video that I made where we were talking about exactly what we are seeing happening. So anyway, let's go on ahead and take a listen to what we were talking about just over a couple weeks ago and kind of what we were seeing and why we were seeing it. That's the first one. Second one, we can see here, that same move to the upside, pull back, consolidate, boom, another amazing move to the upside here, right? Okay, well, what are we seeing again? Move to the upside, pull down, consolidate, and now we're starting to break again. Now, whether we see something similar like we've seen in the past or we do that, 1, 2, 3. Very possible. We've already seen it 2 other times within the past month or so. Actually, I think this is closer to 2 months. But the point being, this is what the chart's done. And frankly, this is what good projects do that are kind of the top projects of the cycle. This is what they do in bull runs like this, right? I mean, they make a really strong move to the upside, they retrace a little bit, consolidate, do it again. Move up, retrace, consolidate, do it again. Retrace, consolidate, do it again. Retrace, consolidate, do it again, maybe, right? Question mark. So, I mean, overall, that's what we're seeing. Hopefully you can see kind of how I'm making that claim. It does look to me like it is a possibility, right? I mean, we've pulled back. We are sitting kind of in the strong range, not totally overbought, but we are sitting in the strong range. And so that is something where, maybe we need to watch it consolidate a little bit more potentially, but also, we are starting to see kind of that move to the upside after a little bit of consolidation here. We've seen the Bollinger Band squeeze a little bit. So, I mean, we are kind of seeing things looking primed like they're ready for that move to the upside. But again, like maybe we kind of break out of this and continue to consolidate a little bit. Again, very possible thing. But overall, like, I guess the point being here is that the SUI chart looking really good. So hopefully you can see what we were taking a look at. Obviously, it has played out relatively well. When we were looking at it, I think price was sitting right around the $3.40 range. If I remember correctly, it might have been closer to $3.80, but we are sitting up at $4.57. So a decent move to the upside since we have seen that. We are sitting on the top of this Bollinger Band, so it is possible that we continue to make this run up. Again, you never know. We are not in the overbought range yet. Typically, we have gone pretty deep into the overbought range when we have seen these other moves to the upside. So things are looking, at least if we are to follow what we've seen in the very recent past, we do have a little bit further to run probably before we start to look at another long-term pullback. But again, hard to say. I'm no future teller. All I can tell you is just based on what we've seen in the past and the probabilities and what the chart's saying, all of that type of stuff, things are looking good for a continued run. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at. If you are wanting to trade SUI, XRP, Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything like that for that matter, I am partnered with BTCC for an additional month. They are still doing that really, really awesome offer of a 10% bonus on first-time deposits. In my opinion, a fantastic deal. I mean, this is basically just 10% free money. I mean, if you're looking for a new place to trade anyway, I would say this is a really, really great thing. It's free money, right? Also, this is in addition to the extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user that you would get anyway. So, I mean, lots of opportunities to be getting free money here before signing up for BTCC. So lots of options here. Also, they have been around for 13 years, so I'm not really super concerned about them being one of those pop-up exchanges that, is only really around while the bull run is, and then they either go insolvent or just disappear when it's gone. They've been around longer than most of us, so I'm not really super worried about that. I think they've got a really, really strong track record. Also, they have 300 plus crypto futures as well as 500x leverage. Again, I personally don't ever use 500x leverage, but if that's something that you are interested in, they do have that available. Also, no VPN or KYC necessary, so you can essentially just go on ahead and sign up and get started trading if that's something you want to do. So, like I said, if you are interested, feel free, check the link in my description and go on ahead and get signed up. Now, moving on, I did want to take a look at some announcements that we've seen from SUI recently, which frankly are just insane, right? I mean, we see the announcement that they made 2 days ago that SUI's total DEX volume broke over $35 billion, and they set a new 24-hour record of more than $466 million. Well, just about a day later, they've come up and broken another record again with $555 million of DEX trading volume. This is just ridiculous, right? I mean, this also marks the first time that SUI is in the top 5 of all chains by 24-hour volume. So again, looking really, really good. Keep in mind, top 5 of all chains, if we see where they're at on the chart, we're seeing they're down here at 19. So again, this is another, potentially really strong, like, mispricing that we are seeing. They're hitting like a top 5 chain, but they're at a top 19 price. So obviously, this is something that could be a pretty good thing to take a closer look into. Again, the amount of volume that we are seeing coming through the SUI network is just absolutely nuts. I mean, they could do potentially, again, we never know for sure, but they could do Solana type numbers going into this bull run. I mean, if things get really ridiculous and frothy and all this type of stuff, like, I do think it's possible that maybe we see SUI hitting a $70-ish billion market cap like we saw out of Solana. Again, now I don't agree with this market cap. I think that would be a pretty ridiculous market cap, if I'm being completely honest, for something like this. And the only reason I say that is strictly because of what we're seeing here. If we click in and look at the market caps, what we can see is they have a market cap of 13.3 billion, but a fully diluted market cap of 45 billion. So a lot of people who are particularly new at investing don't really understand this concept. They look and they see, oh, it's a number 19 coin and it's only a $13 billion market cap. Yes, today, right now. But as token unlocks continue to arrive, essentially these tokens now get in circulation. Only 29% of the tokens are currently in circulation, which is part of the reason that there's going to be consistent selling pressure sitting on the token. Now, in my opinion, this is not really much of an issue while we're in the bull market. But the second we head out of the bull market, this is going to be a massive, massive problem. And honestly, I think Sui is going to turn in from like the darling sweetheart of crypto to like the dog, because it's just going to have constant selling pressure for years and years and years while we are sitting in a bull market, which is usually a downtrend anyway. Now, again, I could be massively wrong. I don't think I am. I highly doubt that I am, but who knows? You know, anything could happen. But this is the thing that I struggle with when looking at Sui, is because there's just such a large fully diluted valuation. If we go back, fully diluted of 45 billion, we're going to be looking somewhere here. Yeah, they'd be above USDC, right below Dogecoin. So the number 8 crypto, again, you know, they're trading like a number 5, so maybe they could, you know, earn a couple spots above here, which would be fine. But I think when we go into the next bear market, Sui's going to get absolutely decimated. So I guess what I'm saying here is, this isn't to say that you shouldn't be trading Sui. I personally am trading Sui. I'm very bullish on how high Sui can go and how far it can run within this bull run. But I do not have any plans of holding a single Sui through this next bear market, because I think it's going to get absolutely obliterated. So my only thing is, I would say just make sure that you're aware of that, you're cognizant of it. If you disagree with me, go on ahead, hold it through the bear market and see how it goes. Obviously, you know, nothing I say is financial advice. You can make your own decisions, and obviously, you know, you have to be responsible for those decisions that you make. So anyway, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, please do give me a like and subscribe, because it really does help me out. I've noticed, I was looking through my analytics the other day, I realized I have over 10,000 people watching me on a fairly consistent basis, but only just about a quarter of them are actually subscribed. So if you would subscribe, that would really, really help me out. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, just feel free to drop those in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of those, so if you have anything you want me to see, that'd be a really great way to do that. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.